Wait, before we open it up to the floor, I have a little surprise for you. The teaser for season 2!
I mean, I'm from Belfast, and I don't think we've got a great history of building boats, so probably best not to call it Titanic.
Well, I've been tagged in a bunch of Roach and Izzy stuff,
No me ames que estaremos juntos uno con el otro. And then she goes like, no me ames. So it's like.
Hi guys,
Hi.
how's it going? How you doing? Thanks so much for coming out.
Oh my God. Y'all look so freaking incredible and stunning. Ah. I love you.
If you were to have a pirate ship, what would you name it?
Why have I not been asked that before? I was like, is this the first time? This is the first time someone asks me that.
Woo!
If I had a pirate ship, it has to be a Spanish name. My partner who's here is probably gonna be like, yeah. I would call it La Hayaera, which means, yeah, I hear them over there like, yeah. Hayaera in Puerto Rico means like feeling yourself, celebrating yourself. So like Hayaera, it's spelled Jaya-E-R-A. Sorry, I'm like in Spanish and then English, and I'm like, wait, yeah, Hayaera, yeah.
Nice, I like that. Mine would be called The Delicious Chaos.
We need an explanation for that, Samba, seriously. Why is it called the Delicious Chaos?
Because I'm the chef and I make delicious food, Kristian.
Do you? He does. He makes
And I'm chaotic, and my Roach is chaotic, and I love chaos, so yeah.
I mean, I'm from Belfast, and I don't think we've got a great history of building boats, so probably best not to call it Titanic. So, I'll go for Titanic. We'll say it was Titanic in a different way, hopefully more successful this time.
Yeah, reclaim that name. Okay, because I've always thought of like I've said this in the last like panel, Tu Pirata Soy Yo by Chayanne, but then like what scene would be behind that? I feel like, yeah, Tu Pirata Soy Yo by Chayanne, it's this beautiful like slow ballad love song about like I'm your pirate and you're my anchor and like I will write your name on my ship, and it's like really sweet and tender. And I feel like if there is a conglomeration of like scenes between like Olu and Jim, like kind of just like they are for each other in that way, and like, you know, it's like a little bit of that, you know. So it's like a slow build into that. So yeah, that would be like a compilation of scenes with that song in the background for sure.
As he's pulling a sock on the door, just to let you guys know.
Yes, oh my God, I love that.
I remember in a couple of episodes, Jim would call Roach Cucaracha.
Cucaracha.
So I wouldn't mind La Cucaracha playing as Roach is slowly sharpening his knife to like torture somebody. Like La Cucaracha, da 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 da. I think that's cool.
You know, the reason why I called Roach Cucaracha is because my mom calls Roach Cucaracha and Cuca for short. So like, I was like, thanks mom, I'm gonna use that now in my acting. Cuca! It's great.
I guess there was a really funny meme I saw on Twitter where I think it was someone had drawn Wee John in the middle of a room that was completely on fire, looking very happy with himself. So I'm gonna say probably the Prodigy fire starter. He'll be happy and self-contained in his own blaze.
What do you mean? We don't know what's going on the internet. We have no idea. We don't have a group chat where we send each other messages and
Just long.
images.
Just constantly going off.
Oh goodness.
Do you mean fictional romances in the show or just in the general wide world?
Either or.
Okay. I'll work on that for 2 people. Go ahead.
I feel like that like a throuple situation between like Olu, Spanish Jackie, and Jim. It's like fictional. Sure. You know, I call it canon, but it's fine.
Well, I've been tagged in a bunch of Roach and Izzy stuff, I'm all for the Rizzy. Let's go for it.
I've also been tagged with like Jim and Izzy stuff, and I'm Jizzy. So like, yeah, it's
Rizzy Jizzy.
Rizzy Jizzy. Oh God. Is there any wheezy on your end?
No, I'm doing a right turn here, definitely. Outside the show, I was never a big Disney fan. When you hear the booze, oh, okay, everyone hates Disney. That's okay. What do you call that bloody thing about Rapunzel? Tangled.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to be in that boat with the lanterns. That got me. That changed me into a Disney fan. But inside the show, I know there was quite a lot of talk about the room people. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know if we pursued that or not. I mean, I'm down.
In our minds, we have, for sure.
It was recently Trans Day of Visibility and the GLAAD Awards. And you actually won an award for an interview that you did. I would love to know a little bit more about that interview and like what it meant to you, what winning meant to you, and just like the impact it all had.
Yes, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So, yes, so when Our Flag came out last year, I got myself a publicity team that had a strong base in Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the US, because I wanted to not only do a publicity tour around the US, but also like really be like, hello, there's a trans non-binary person in this show who speaks Spanish, who's Puerto Rican. Let's like say hello, right? And, a lot of Spanish-speaking people were like, yes, our flag means death. Taika Waititi, Reese Darby. And then they'll have me and be like, wait, how do we talk around? What are you speaking? Inclusive Spanish? And a lot of them got a little scared. Having Primer Impacto, which is a huge show in Latin America, be like super thrilled to not only promote the show, but talk to me and like, and interview me and chat with me and hear me, right? Was amazing because this show, I grew up with this show, this would show all the time in my household between telenovelas, and like my grandma watches this, my aunts and uncles, my family, a lot of households have access to the show and know that I was able to promote the show and then use Jim as a way to segue into like, this is also who I am and this is something that like, we've always existed, and Spanish is something that like we can know. So it was really, thank you. It was really wonderful to have that and have access to that, and also have the support of the network and the show to like be like, yes, go forth, do it, Because it is helpful to be like, hey, I have a massive team with me, like who's supporting me, and like you should hear me, and it was wonderful. I mean, the amount of people that like watched that and were like, oh my gosh, my grandma saw this, and was like, you're not the only non-binary. And it's like, yeah, there's more. And there are ways to use language to honor who we are. I know that Spanish is a very binary language, but there is an amazing amount of people that are like introducing this neutral Spanish, and it's there, it's accessible, and it's really fun to use. And I try to make it as fun as possible because it is fun. I mean, language and life should be about exploration and being curious and leaning into that. So, yeah.
Wait, before we open it up to the floor, I have a little surprise for you. The teaser for season 2. April Fools. I'm so sorry.
If only.
I told him not to.
They told me not to do it. I'm so sorry.
I said that after this, everyone's gonna be like, never bring the crew on April Fools ever again. Do not do a panel on that day.
It's coming, don't worry, it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my go-to karaoke song as Vico is No Me Ames, the duet with J-Lo and Mark Anthony, and I do both voices. So I go low with like Mark Anthony, and then I go up and with like J-Lo, and then just like have fun just like playing around with that.
preview?
Yeah. Say a preview?
A preview?
Sí. Okay. No me ames que estaremos juntos uno con el otro. And then she goes like, no me ames. So it's like, go back and forth. Jim's though, I think Jim would I have Jim singing a song, or Jim would be like more like in the background, you know, singing vocals for somebody. I think that they'll be like, I want to do this, but not be in the spotlight, but I want to do this. I'm so deeply grateful that I can be a vessel of conversation or a vessel of communication to either mend or create and connect bridges, right? Because it's all about that, right? Oftentimes there is a desire of like wanting to know, but then not knowing where to start. And then like, if Jim is that like ignition, beautiful. If I'm that ignition, beautiful. And like, I use Jim too as a way to like start conversations. And it's like, look at Jim, you know? And I guess I'm so deeply grateful and know that I am honored, and I am also, I also want more, you know? I want to be looking around and like be like, I know that I'm not the only one, but I know that I want more of us, specifically Latina people, like on stage, on TV, on film, you know? And I know that Latin America and the Caribbean are pretty behind in a lot of their representation. I feel like now is when they're starting to be like doing the coming out stories and only for sexuality. So they haven't even tackled like a lot of stuff yet that we're in another realm now, right? So, but yeah, I'm deeply grateful and so honored, and if it weren't for y'all, I also wouldn't be here. You know, it's a two-way street. I know that there's a community of all of us, that we have each other, and I wouldn't have the strength to do what I'm doing if I didn't know that I had y'all with me. Thank you.